In Privacy Watch, there are new privacy concerns surrounding the FaceApp that makes users look older. You probably saw this, kind of went viral.
It did.
It's prompted calls for the FBI to investigate by Democratic Party leaders. FaceApp is one of this week's most downloaded apps. FaceApp developers claim it has more than 80 million active users.
You can see from this graphic, celebrities like Mindy Kaling, LeBron James, and others are using it to post these aged photos of themselves. It uses AI to show how users could look in the future. But technology experts warn you may give up your privacy when you upload photos to the Russian owned app.
Yeah, we heard about that too.
Yes. So FaceApp has responded, claiming, quote, most images are deleted from our servers within 48 hours.
Okay, but Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer wants an investigation into whether the Russian government could access personal data on the app. So Wired Magazine editor-in-chief and CBS News contributor Nick Thompson joins us now to consider the security risk of this viral app.
Welcome.
Hello,
Thank you for being here. I got to tell you, it kind of freaked me out. Vlad and I were fooling around with this app yesterday, and then after we both kind of took pictures, and one of the guys who works here was like, "Did you know the Russians have your pictures now?" And I deleted as fast as I could. But here,
you know how else the Russians can get your pictures? They
By
can
going
watch
on to CBSN.
I'm in more trouble than I thought.
Anybody can take a picture of the screen right now. Upload it to Google, which the Russians can access.
That. Now they know, because I never delete any of my pictures, like 1,000 on my phone. Now they know every vacation I ever went on and all that kind of stuff.
So that's a misconception about FaceApp. If they did that, that would be incredibly scary. So the initial reports were that FaceApp downloaded all of the images off your camera roll. And if that were the case, it would be an absurd, horrific privacy violation. No one has been able to replicate that initial theory. The person who put that theory out has deleted the tweet. There isn't any evidence that FaceApp is doing that. If they were to do that, delete it all immediately, burn down the company's walls, right? But it seems like what they're doing is they're taking the images that you upload to FaceApp and they're putting them in the cloud, which is fine. It would be better if they just analyzed them on your device and never put them in the cloud, but they're putting them in the cloud, but just those images. So the image that we just created of Vlad with a beard, that's now owned by the Russians. But the pictures of Vlad as a kid and Vlad with his family, those are not owned by the Russians.
Okay.
Even if they can access, so here's the thing. I think I'm curious as to why all of a sudden all of these think pieces came out on FaceApp, because I went through the user agreement and it looks like almost every other user agreement that I agree to when I download an app. In other words, they claim the user agreement, by signing it, you agree that this company owns the picture that you create, that you upload to their servers, the one of you as an aged person. But in doing so, it can access other photos in my phone or on my cloud. Can it?
There's no evidence that it does.
Okay. Because that would make me afraid if I had...
That's what he just said, that they tried to replicate that suggestion and they weren't able to do it. So the assumption is wherever that came from.
They're not doing that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, but they do have that image of you. And there are a couple things that are worrisome about it. One, there's the user agreement is excessive. But as you say, so are the user agreements for most of these apps. Secondly, the idea that it's owned by the Russians. There are some particular cases, right? If I worked on Kamala Harris's campaign, I would not be using this app. I would not upload anything to it. And then the third thing is there's no doubt that they will take all of the images and train face recognition and AI systems based on it. And there is something that feels violative to have your image training computers about recognizing people, even if it doesn't affect us in our day-to-day lives. So there are some weird things about it. But really, those weird things are also true about these other apps we use called Facebook and Instagram. So
then why are lawmakers asking the FBI to investigate?
Because it's a good story, and I mean, it is owned by a Russian. That is different. Instagram and Facebook are owned by Americans, but I don't think it's a huge deal.
So listen, Nick, when I went to check out this app, I saw that I had already previously downloaded it at some point. It was sitting in my sort of cloud. Why now? What happened that this app suddenly became so popular?
It's the way things work on the internet, right? So a couple years ago, it's been out for a while. It got a press moment a few years ago because it had filters that would allow you to change your appearance by race, which is probably the worst idea anybody has ever had in the history of platform ideas.
Right.
So they had a lot of trouble in, I think it was 2017. Then it kind of went away and got quiet. And then the way viral stuff happens, like suddenly everybody pays attention to it. And the truth is, the app is hilarious.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
It is really fun to use. And so when you learn about it and you downloaded it, you have fun. So that's
what I find really interesting about the app is that when it ages you, it actually makes me feel, or it looks to me like the way film and CGI ages people. In other words, it looks fake because I think that, yeah, I probably might look something like this, but I probably won't, because how easy or how difficult would it be for an app to mimic the real aging process?
It would be pretty hard, but not that hard. I mean, one of the things about artificial intelligence is that where it has improved the most is in image recognition and in image processing, right? In part because artificial intelligence mimics a human brain optimized for image recognition. Secondly, because there are huge data sets of images. We take so many pictures of ourselves, there's a lot to train on. So actually, AI for image recognition is fairly effective.
Interesting.
Now, we won't know. I will say that when I did the first picture and I showed it to my son, he's like, you look like somebody. You look like your dad. And I was like, oh my God.
No, it's happening. It's happening. Ashley Carmen at The Verge wrote this article. And basically, Nick, she says what you're saying, which is that it doesn't seem to go any further than anything else that you might download and put on your phone. And people put a lot of crazy apps and stuff on their phone that they have no idea. In fact, for this segment, I wanted to get a South Park clip, because South Park many, many years ago did a whole story on people agreeing by not reading their user agreements for any product that they put on their phone, and then finding out that they've been thrown into a Saw-like prison, Saw the movie, like prison, and that was part of the user agreement. And people say, oh, I never read the user agreement. And they said, well, you should have. Now we can put you in solitary confinement.
Yeah, so most user agreements do give you that option. But what is also true is that most companies do not take their rights as far as the user agreement gives them. The user agreements are written that way so that if there's ever a conflict, the company will win in court. But that doesn't mean, right? They write the broadest language possible, not because they're actually going to manipulate you in that way, but so that if there ever is a conflict and you sue FaceApp or you sue Instagram, they can say you signed this user agreement giving us the rights to your image in perpetuity. So
let me ask you one last quick question. You know, one of Apple's sort of new branding, the marketing thing, is that you have access to your stuff, privacy, we're better than all these other platforms because we respect your privacy. Does Apple and the App Store, whoever manages it, do they keep track of what these apps are asking for?
Yeah, they do. They do keep some track of it, but they can't keep track of user agreements. I would bet you
there couldn't be an app that was like, hey, listen, let's get access to your photos and your contacts and maybe your credit card information that's on this phone. Well, and slip that into a user agreement. You know what I mean?
That would be Facebook. I mean, right? Like a lot of the apps we use that do that, right? I mean, Facebook has all of those things. They have your contact, they have your credit card information, they have your photos.
Yeesh.
I don't know if we should invite you back because you're making me feel horrible.
Especially since Anne-Marie is a well-known downloader of all. Her Facebook feed is like. Do you want to know who the Russians are targeting?
No, I always say, if you had a personality quiz, I'm there for it.
She takes all these random quizzes and she clicks on everything. It's really crazy.
But let me give you a 1, 2, 3 for privacy on your phone. So go onto your phone, all the apps you don't use, just go and delete them, okay? Go into your settings and go into your location services. That is where the most privacy violations are. Go into that and don't allow any app to access your location always, right? Only allow it to access your location while you are using that app. Then, for the apps you use a lot, particularly Facebook and Instagram, click on those little hamburger menus, go into the privacy thing, and basically turn off most of the privacy settings that they collect things on. And then you're going to be fine.
All right. Of course, by now, I've given away everything, but thanks.
Thanks, Nick. Nick Thompson, thank you.